Hello, this is my Chapter 7 assignment where we had to take the personality quiz and just kind of get some background information as to what our personalities kind of break down as. The personality that I got was an ENFJ, so Echo, Nancy, Foxtrot, Juliet. Um, Basically, looking at it here, what the four break down as extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. My specific percentages were 47 for extrovert, 22 for intuitive, 12% for feeling, and then 9% for judging. Um, the extrovert part definitely makes sense. I've always been kind of an outgoing person. It's just how I've always been. Intuitive makes sense. I usually like to uh, kind of work on what I feel like I know, and I like to let base a lot of my decisions based off of like background that I feel I'm confident with. Now, if I don't feel comfortable with a situation, I like to stop, listen, learn, kind of a thing. Like if it's something I'm going into completely blank, I usually kind of scale back a little bit. But if it's something that at least have like a little bit of background in, then I kind of go head first. I jump in head first. So that being a low but still kind of solid number makes sense. 12% for feeling kind of surprises me a little bit, um, but at the same time, I do work off emotion. Um, I sometimes put either someone else's emotions or my emotions first over logic sometimes, but I feel like that would be a little bit higher because I feel like I do that more often than not, but maybe I don't, and I just feel like I do. So I guess that's kind of appropriate. And then 9% judging, that one kind of made me laugh a little bit um, because I do feel like I judge a lot more. Like I feel like I'm constantly critiquing in my head. If I see someone doing something that maybe I don't agree with, I'm constantly just like, oh, this or oh, that. And of course, I'm never going to say anything. It's a tick in my head that I'm like, okay, I would do that different kind of thing. So I feel like that would definitely be higher, but at the same time, um, other than what the opposite of it is, which is called perceiving, um, I definitely think I watch more than I act, kind of a thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm misinterpreting that, but yeah, some different careers that um, pop up for an ENFJ. So that 100 times fast. Um, some of these careers actually kind of make a lot of sense, and then some of them were like, really? That's surprising. The ones that made sense were obviously a science or technical background, computer science, software engineering, management, fashion merchandising, or I would say probably just merchandising in general, like retail situation, or politics. And that one made me laugh a lot because my friends know I don't like talking about politics, but if it triggers, I'd run full head. Like I'm just, and I'm not one side or the other. I'm very middle, and I will call you out either side. Like it's funny. I have gotten quite a few arguments that went from debates to full out arguments and made friends mad at me because I just like even if I wanted to play devil's advocate and like they know I agree with them, I will still argue the point just to argue. So yeah, definitely those positions that can make sense. I really want to go into management with the career I'm working with right now through the Hendrick Corporation or the Hendrick Company. Um, so that definitely makes sense. Some of the ones that surprised me though were education, social work, psychology, and counseling. It makes sense because obviously you have to be very outgoing or outspoken, but I don't think I would be good for that because I work off emotion. So going into those things, yes, you're having to listen to other people's emotions. And I do that very well. I've always been kind of the Dr. Phil of my friend group, but I don't feel like I react to emotion very well, or I won't be able to subdue my emotions to do those careers. So it's kind of a surprise to me that those popped up. But again, it does make sense. I just don't know if it fits me in a way. Um, but yeah, some of the basic background of an ENFJ, according to this website, and some of the other things that I kind of read. ENFJs are benevolent pedagogues of humanity. I don't really know what pedagogues means, but they have tremendous charisma, which by many are drawn into the nurturing. Used a lot of big words. Why did they have to make this complicated? Um, Basically, the gist of what I read when I read this earlier was we're very outspoken, we're very verbal, loud. Um, we work in we have a phenomenal intrapersonal skill set and a unique salesmanship, um, both of which I do feel apply to me very well. I've been in retail most of my career, and I've been told many times, especially when I was living in Florida, in high school when I was working for Publix. Florida is very known for oranges, obviously, and they had a running joke at my store that I could sell oranges to an orange grover. Like, mine are better than the ones that are on your trees, kind of a thing. And that was when I was 16 to 18 years old. So it's not something that I just like was taught. I just kind of naturally did it. So they always kind of made fun of me for it in a good way. But um, it also says that ENFJs are global learners. They like to see the big picture. They focus on their focus is expansive. Some can juggle an amazing number of responsibilities or projects simultaneously, which that is definitely me. My job day to day is bouncing back and forth between different sales and different orders and stuff like that for different companies, because I work both the retail side as well as the what they call wholesale. Retail is who is physically in your door, in your store, right then and there. And just to get some background, I work for the parts department at Toyota in Concord. So if you're in the parts department, I'm dealing with you. But I've also probably got 3 or 4 orders of wholesale shops, whether it be a body shop or whatever that is called in, that I'm fulfilling orders for them. And then on top of that, sometimes I won't do retail side. I'll jump over to service side where I serve the service counter for all the technicians that are working on cars in the building, as well as still juggle wholesale. So I'm kind of constantly jumping back and forth, doing that. So that definitely fits me. I do love to learn. I love to just, when I sit back, I remember some of the questions like, you would prefer to read a book versus go out to a party, and not necessarily read a book. I've never been a big fan of just sitting down and just reading a magazine or something like that. That's not really my thing. But I love, love, love watching YouTube. There's a bunch of like space things that I watch for like NASA and SpaceX and stuff like that. Because again, I grew up in Florida. I grew up in the space coast, what they call the Space Coast. So that's been a big part of my life. Sorry about that. I got some notifications here.